Sheryl, start with you. What's your reaction to Caitlin Clark winning Time Magazine Athlete of the Year?
I don't think I'm surprised. I'm curious to know who the other candidates were.
But we've never seen anything like Caitlin Clark.
Indiana Fever GM Amber Cox just stunned everyone with a sharp comment aimed at Sheryl Swoopes during a live broadcast, and it's safe to say the remark landed hard. For a while now, Swoopes has seemed determined to question the rise of Caitlin Clark, often minimizing her impact and suggesting that her popularity is tied more to race than performance. At the same time, she's been quick to highlight and praise Angel Reese, creating a contrast that hasn't gone unnoticed by fans.
Because she has so many fans, and you saw it across arenas, I mean, people are moving games because so many people wanted to see her play.
But Amber wasn't buying any of it. She stepped in, pushed back against the claims, and ended the discussion with such authority that it left Sheryl looking completely caught off guard, so much so that it might take a while for her to regain her footing after that moment.
For the longest time, the WNBA has been trying to get on this global scale, and I feel like that's the direction they are finally headed. I think that WNBA fans have always been proud supporters and pushers of the advancements of this league, but sometimes it takes a certain star of a certain caliber to really just expand and explode the league from the inside out, and that's what Caitlin Clark is.
To be honest, let's make one thing clear. No one ever needed Caitlin Clark to receive a seal of approval from Sheryl Swoopes. Still, it does leave a bit of a sour note when someone with her level of experience and reputation chooses to take subtle jabs rather than simply acknowledge the credit that's clearly earned.
Asia Wilson in there.
That was just basketball.
So that's what I'm saying. Was it just the performance on the court, or
No, it's global. It's like, I think it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
From college arenas to the professional stage, Caitlin Clark has completely changed expectations for what women's basketball can look like. She isn't simply participating in the game, she's reshaping it. Every move she makes, whether it's a deep three or a perfectly timed assist, highlights the kind of impact that transforms a sport. Yet instead of hearing widespread praise, the conversation keeps circling back to the same tired criticisms from Sheryl Swoopes.
The fact that that's the very first WNBA player to ever win Time Magazine Athlete of the Year is pretty special. And my question is, like the criteria, is it based off of her performance on the court, which, yeah, she had a great year, or is it more about the impact that she had on the game this season?
And if we're talking about recognition, let's not overlook the moment Caitlin Clark was honored as Time Athlete of the Year by Time Magazine. That's more than just a trophy. It's a statement. It's the kind of recognition that places her in the same conversation as icons like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods, the rare figures who didn't just dominate their sports but fundamentally changed them. For women's basketball, moments like this feel nothing short of monumental.
Caitlin Clark was recently named Time's Athlete of the Year.
And if you look at the numbers, they tell the same story, loud and clear. Caitlin Clark didn't just have a historic college run. That was merely the opening act. Once she arrived in the WNBA, she wasted no time making her presence felt. Those deep-range shots that seem almost unreal, they're part of her regular arsenal. The pinpoint passes that make you wonder how she even spotted the play developing, she delivers those too. And beyond the stats, there's the atmosphere she creates. Clark has a way of pulling the entire crowd into the moment. Fans who once overlooked women's basketball are now filling seats, eager just to watch her take the court.
I think Caitlin Clark deserves that award. What Caitlin Clark did, because so many eyeballs were on her, was she is a huge multiplier effect of that.
But not everyone seems ready to embrace this new chapter. Sheryl Swoopes, for one, has repeatedly voiced doubts about the surge of attention around Caitlin Clark. Her skepticism dates back to Clark's college days, when she brushed off the record-breaking performances as overhyped. At one point, she even raised a strange argument suggesting Clark's age somehow gave her an unfair edge.
Look, like, I don't take anything away from other players that brought more eyeballs. Angel, Cameron, right? Like, the identity and how much brand recognition these players now have in college absolutely help the WNBA.
That's where Amber Cox, the GM of the Indiana Fever, stepped in. She's made it very clear that she's not going to sit quietly while Caitlin Clark becomes the target of criticism, especially when it's coming from someone like Sheryl Swoopes. Across several straightforward interviews, Cox didn't just defend Clark. She firmly pushed back against the repetitive criticisms and challenged the narrative surrounding her. For Cox, the issue goes beyond simply standing up for a talented rookie. It's about confronting outdated viewpoints and helping shift how women's basketball is talked about and understood moving forward.
But we've never seen anything like Caitlin Clark.
Let's start with the obvious. Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent, and Amber Cox has never hesitated to say it out loud. As Cox put it, we've never seen anything quite like Caitlin Clark. And honestly, that statement holds weight. Clark isn't simply stepping onto the court and playing well. She's transforming the entire atmosphere around the game. She's filling arenas, driving record-breaking viewership, and pulling the WNBA into the kind of mainstream attention the league has been striving to reach for years.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar, not a female superstar. She is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Of course, Clark's rapid rise hasn't won universal applause. Sheryl Swoopes, for example, has been tossing shade from the sidelines like it's a full-time job. She's scrutinized everything, from Clark's record-breaking college career to her impact on the Indiana Fever locker room, going so far as to hint at jealousy and friction among teammates.
Obviously, as we get into free agency, the number one priority for us is re-signing Kelsey Mitchell. I think that backcourt was about as lethal as we've seen in the WNBA, and I'm talking maybe in history in the second half of the season last year.
But Cox refused to let that story take hold. During an interview on In Case You Missed It with host Christina Williams, she shut it down completely, framing Clark as far more than just a player. She's a movement. Caitlin is someone who brings more eyes to our game, someone who opens doors for all of us, Cox said, decisively putting Sheryl Swoopes' petty critiques firmly in the rearview mirror.
We want to reunite Caitlin and Kelsey. And Kelsey, when I think about her and her time in Indiana, and, you know, a lot of trials and tribulations throughout her career. So for me and for us, I'm most excited for her to be in this moment and experience so much success.
Cox didn't stop there. She brought the evidence. Attendance? Through the roof. Fever home games? Sold out. Fans? Snapping up season tickets after watching Clark just once. These aren't just feel-good anecdotes. They're hard numbers showing Clark's influence is real and undeniable. And for Cox, the significance goes beyond the Indiana Fever. Clark isn't just elevating her own team, she's raising the bar for the entire WNBA. Players like her aren't just the future, they're the present, inspiring everyone around them to level up.
Surprised by Caitlin Clark and the Fever's improvement since the Olympic break.
What?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5
crazy.
5.6
Those are hell of a number.
Those are hell of a numbers.
But to me, that's not dominating.
As for Sheryl Swoopes' suggestion that Clark is stirring tension in the Indiana Fever locker room, Cox set the record straight. She described the team as a close-knit group and emphasized the strong chemistry between Clark and veterans like Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey and Caitlin aren't just teammates, Cox explained. They're a dynamic duo in the making.
Over there.
Yeah. So you have players that are very significant on this Indiana Fever team that are like, I don't
want to be here.
The notion that jealousy is simmering? According to Cox, that's pure fiction. She highlighted how Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston have fully embraced their roles as leaders and collaborators alongside Caitlin Clark. The backcourt duo of Mitchell and Clark, she added, is already shaping up to be one of the most lethal combinations in the WNBA. Division? Not even close.
You could see, and I've heard about how close this unit was.
At the heart of it all is Caitlin Clark, the Fever's crown jewel and the WNBA's brightest star. Since being drafted in 2023, she's exceeded every expectation, dropping video game stats, electrifying fans, and boosting viewership by 35%. Her impact stretches off the court too, With major endorsement deals and attention that open doors for the entire league, a reality Amber Cox fully recognizes.